Hey there, pizza dogs. It's your pal Z Reezy back with another episode of our beginner-friendly City Skylines series, Vanilla Vista. Last time, we began our journey on the breathtaking mountain taper map from the first content creator map pack by Sanctum Gamer. We hit our Boomtown milestone objective, laid our foundations, and started building our dream city from scratch. Now, as we dive into episode 2, our strategy evolves. Today isn't about hitting any particular milestones, it's about the thoughtful refinement and amplification of our city. We'll be immersing ourselves in the details, those essential features that infuse our city with a lively and vibrant energy. We're planning some rearrangements to streamline our cityscape, making it more practical, plus we're stepping into the realm of industrial city planning. With the help of the Industries DLC, we're setting up our very first industrial zone, an undertaking that's sure to bring a wealth of new challenges and opportunities our way. And here's some exciting news. For this episode, we're introducing a new mod that our remastered console players will also basically have access to, the Forest Brush mod. This fantastic tool will let us paint our landscape with diverse trees of different shapes and densities, all at a cost to keep it original to the base vanilla experience. It's a game changer that will save us from placing each tree one by one, and I can't wait to show you how it enhances our city's look. I also want to give a big thank you to our series sponsor, Xbox PC Game Pass, where you can enjoy hundreds of high-quality PC games, including City Skylines and other day one titles that are constantly updating. Remember, there's always something new to play with Xbox PC Game Pass. Check out the link in the description below. Now, let's dive back in and get ready for some detailed city building, exciting rearrangements, and the birth of our first industrial zone. Welcome to episode 2 of Vanilla Vista. We are where we left off now from episode 1. Our city is starting to grow. It's looking good. We just passed our objective milestone for the last video of Boomtown. So this video, as I mentioned, we're not really going to be focusing too much on milestones, but expansion to the industry area over to this tile, as well as probably buying this tile so we can fix our off and on ramps for the highway to make this connection a little bit cleaner. You'll notice people are getting backed up here, so we can get that fixed by buying that tile and having access to that. We've also let the simulation run for a little bit now, so we have some money to work with for today. We have a good positive income, and I just let that run for maybe 30 minutes so that we have some balance to work with. We don't have to wait on money throughout the video. Since we did our last episode, also, City Skylines got its final DLC, and also some awesome stuff in the free update, a part of that DLC. They launched just this past Tuesday, and what we can see here, some of the free update I'll post here, is we got some new trees and some hedges and some other stuff. So the new trees, there's 3 of them. I believe are in here. Yes, there's this large shrub, this silver birch, and a Norway spruce. The other exciting feature that they built in now, it used to be required for a mod, is toggle zoning. So I'll get into this a little bit more specifically in a use case of that, but basically it allows you to change where zoning happens. So you'll notice there it's on the top. You click it again, now it's on the bottom. You can say there's no zoning, or you can do just back to regular. So I'll kind of go into that use case here later in the video, but it's a really good feature built into the game now that used to only be available via mod. So as I mentioned, this is starting to get backed up a little bit. So let's go ahead and buy this tile and get this sorted out. So what we can do is open up our tile view and go over here and purchase this tile so we can edit anything in that square. If you're not familiar with this view, as you progress, you'll have the ability to unlock new tiles and purchase them. And you can kind of always get little stats about each tile. You notice it tells you about like the different resources and how much is in that tile, different connections. So say you're trying to get a water connection. If you bought this tile, you'll notice there is no ship connection for water stuff. So, you wouldn't want to buy that tile you wouldn't want to buy that tile to be able to purchase a ship path or something. Whereas this one doesn't. It's probably all the way on this one. And you can also only buy tiles that are adjacent to ones you own. So as soon as we purchase this one, you'll notice we now have access to these. But you can't just buy a tile all the way over here until you kind of progress that way. So the fix for this is actually really easy. As Sanctum Gamer made the map, I don't know if this is something he can control or not, but basically what happens is there's a stop sign here. So we really don't need this here, especially because there's nothing coming in. So there's no reason for this traffic to stop. So as soon as we stop, turn that stop sign off, you'll notice they no longer stop. That fixes that. So that'll just help from this traffic bottlenecking here on a tile. So we're not going to really work on this tile just yet, but it's a fix that we need because we're going to have a lot more traffic with our industry. So if we have this bottleneck here, that could cause problems for us later. So naturally, we just kind of have to buy it to fix it. The other thing that I want to just quickly fix while we're in here is just the lane math. So I'll link to a great video by a friend good friend Yumble TV, who just recently made a video going over lane mathematics and all the different use cases with much more detail than I'm going to put in this video. I'll link to that in the description. But the TLDR is just that the math for your lanes, in the way the city AI works, is it helps to kind of make that math correct in the way that it adds up when you're coming to and from connections. So example here is there's four lanes coming into 3, so naturally these 2 are going to have to merge. Again, we don't have any traffic over here, but eventually when there is more traffic coming through here, that could cause some problems. So the simple fix is to, well, you could do a few different things. You could go to your highways, and we could adjust this to a 2-lane, so now it's 3 into 3. That would help it. So now we have a dedicated turning lane into that lane, and these 2 could just go straight on. There's other ways we're going to do it. There's other ways you can do it. I think the way we're going to handle it is we're actually going to change, since we had access to this area yet, we're just going to change these all to 2. So these highways, we don't need 3. At least for now, we don't need 3. And then now that it's 3 going into 2, that would also cause problems. So we're going to change this sides to 1. Same with this. So now 2 instead of going into 3. That would be fine hypothetically, but it's just easier to kind of make it a little bit cleaner to have a dedicated lane. So 2 into 2. So now we have 2 going to 2, 2 going to 2, 2 going to 2, 2 going to 2. And then same with this, we can fix this. This is normally 2 going into 1. So again, if there was a lot of traffic here, these 2 would have to merge and can slow things down. So if we just do 2, now it's 2 to 2, 2 to 2, 2 to 2, 2 to 2. And then with this one, we can basically, again, instead of 3 going to 4, we can downgrade this one to 2. So now there's a dedicated turn lane. And this, again, is all just ways to make the AI work a little bit less, and they kind of find the lanes a little bit easier. There's other mods out there like TMPE, which is a traffic mod for cities, very popular, that allows this stuff to be handled through other ways. But without mods and a vanilla playthrough, lane math is definitely going to help you with your traffic flow and getting the sims to where they need with more efficiently and with lane selection stuff. So again, I'll link to a video with more details, but for the most part, that's just a small little fixes we'll make. It's not really a problem yet, but if we don't fix it, it could become a problem later. So it's better just to take care of it now while we can. Okay, and now we are on over here. We're going to buy this tile now because we're going to start up our ore industry on this tile where this big chunk of ore is here. And with that, obviously, we purchased that tile now. We need to now extend this road over there. So I think what we'll do a part of that is we're just going to upgrade this main road to 4 lanes. So we have a main priority road of 4 lanes going through here. Again, there's going to be more traffic coming to this industrial area, so it helps to kind of prep for that a little bit. So we didn't want to go down from a 2-lane or go up from a 2-lane to a 4-lane. So let's upgrade that across the board here. And you'll notice as you upgrade, like the zoning is still 4. That's always consistent, but you'll notice it's like the offset changes. So nothing to be really alarmed there, but just make a note of that. And sometimes also things will break. So you'll notice there, it'll kind of warn you that you're going to break that, which is totally fine. You just have to fix it. So we broke both of those byte connections. All we have to do is just rebuild those. Not a problem. Super easy. Also, just note, if you notice it, I'm using a mod, just a quality of life mod called Picker. And all this does is allows me, it's hidden in here, to select items and then get that item faster than looking in the menu. So every once in a while, you might notice that I'm going to use my mouse as a shortcut here, but I'm going to click that and it's just going to pop in. It's just the quality of life mod to make these videos faster, but don't be alarmed if you wonder why, I'm at this screen and all of a sudden I click this and I have this selected, or I can, click the school and have that selected really fast. Just makes finding stuff a little bit faster sometimes. But feel free to call me out if I do something weird that you're like, hey, wait, how'd you go to that item or something real fast? And again, like this is just part of the expansion, but you'll notice certain buildings like this are just going to break. It's totally fine. We can fix the zoning on those after they upgrade here. And again, we'll fix that connection. Just part of the upgrading just happens when you go from a small road to a medium road. We can fix all this zoning that we kind of broke as far as making us back to 3 deep. Later in the video, we're going to upgrade this whole area. So for now, we can just leave that as is. And we need to fix that one byte connection that broke over here. I'll also quickly go into a use case of what I mentioned with the zoning toggling. You'll notice here that there's kind of some weirdness going on with the zoning tiles here. So for example, because this 4-lane road has zoning tiles and this little small dirt road has zoning tiles, you'll see it clashes, meaning that these zoning tiles here, I'm going to put those in blue, are all dedicated to buildings that would spawn off of this road. Whereas these little 2 green buildings here would be buildings that would grow off of this and spawn off of this dirt road. So what happens that you can do, so sometimes that can be annoying, right? Maybe you don't want buildings to spawn on this road because it's a high traffic road and you want people just to drive through and not be parked or stopping and whatnot for deliveries on this main road. So what we can do is first we'll select this road, this 4-lane road. We can turn off zoning, and we're going to break this, which is totally fine. Or actually, no, we can show off one side. So let me show you here. I've seen this happen a few times where it's a little bit funky with the left and right. So let's go to no first. What we can do is turn off zoning here. So basically what this means is that no more zoning tiles can be placed on this road. And then now on this side, we can actually put a dedicated house that's on this road. So again, off of the main road to not stop traffic. What I can also show you here though, what would be a perfect situation for what we need is the left side or the right side. So what I can do is find this one side here. Oh, I did it backwards. There. So now what it is that we have zoning just on the left side here. So it's not going to, the zoning is not going to interfere with this dirt road here, but we could have, a little business right here. So this is really useful. Again, this used to only be able to be done via mods. So it's really awesome that it's actually baked into the game. Now there's a lot of small little use cases like that when you're just trying to get the traffic flow properly and whatnot to work. And that'll come in handy a lot of times. I'll try to call out when we use it other places, but I definitely noticed it right there as one thing. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is, I think it makes sense for us to have a road that's kind of somewhat parallel to this train tracks that kind of works all the way back over to our ore industry. So to prep for that, what we're going to do is first get out our level tool. And again, these are vanilla mods that console and stuff has access to, but I am using unlimited soil and unlimited ore. So technically in the base game, if you don't turn those settings on, what happens is if you, to move soil around, you kind of have this availability. So as you get soil or lose soil, that kind of meter changes, and then you can only have so much. But we're using unlimited for that. And then the other side of it too is for ore. In the base game, normally that could deplete, and you might have to eventually move your ore over here or something. I personally find that mechanic kind of annoying because you're constantly chasing, the ore resource. So with that, it's easier just to leave it unlimited so we can kind of keep things going. So not the end, it's just a minor thing, and consoles do have access to that. So don't be alarmed if you notice that, if you just turn that on in your settings. You'll notice when you're placing down networks, it's not going to grade in those areas. It's just totally fine. Normally, as we saw here, if you take the road and delete the road and place the road, it'll work. But in this case, we don't have train tracks yet, so we don't want to delete that just yet because we won't be able to fix that until we have train tracks. So it's totally fine. So for now, just do this. Make this somewhat level. We can soften this out so this looks a little bit nicer and more natural. Not too high of a grade. I think that should be enough for what we need. Just clean that up a little bit. Cool. So yeah, what we use is our freeform tool, and then what you can do is kind of follow these nodes. So you'll click once and then kind of may find this node here. So that's a good parallel, and we're about 3 units always away from that. And then you kind of just slowly follow this pathway. Make sure you always lock onto these nodes. Not perfect, that's good. So now we have a nice road that feels like it goes parallel with this railroad track. We'll bring it over here just a little bit. So now we can always follow it out that way if we want. And with this upgrade, by the way, we should also double check our junctions, going into our view, traffic view, and then junctions. Yeah, so we have stoplights now because we upgraded this to 4-lane road. So we want to get rid of that. So let's make this a priority road. It's our main entrance, and we'll go junctions. And then as soon as we turn these lights off, these go back to stop signs, which is fantastic and what we want. And we're building our industry first here just so we can, there's a whole leveling system I'll explain in a minute, but it's better just to knock this out, and throughout the whole video, we'll keep on upgrading our industry as we do other things. So just kind of knocking this part out first. So I think what makes sense is we have this huge area for ore. So I think I'm going to kind of dedicate this general area for our ore industry, with the idea that maybe in the future we'll have a railroad connection, some other warehouses and everything. So with that, why don't we make a nice little connection here across the railroad. We'll keep it to a, I don't think we can justify a 4-lane yet, so let's just go back down to a 2-lane. Maybe we can do as an industrial road. So this is a little bit less, well, it gives you a different texture and connection, but on top of it, you can see the price is a little bit different. So the upkeep is a little bit less than what a normal paved road is, but I think they also get some more noise pollution, stuff like that. But since we're a little bit further out from the city, it doesn't really matter as much, but it saves us a few bucks. So we'll make this connection here. Nice. And we'll just bring it out a little bit. Like to here. You know what? I do want to actually make just this first part a nice road, and then we'll switch to the industrial once you kind of get into the zoning area. Great. So now we can pull this over, make it just a kind of a T here. First things to do when you're making an industrial area, first is to paint our industry area. So you'll see as we pull this up, you can kind of see all the different types of industry available, the resources here in the key. What we're going to do is just paint this whole area, maybe a little bit past it for ore. We're not going to use this whole area, but just better to paint with the wide brush now, and then we can refine it later to make it look a little nicer. So then now that we have that, we have the ability to place our first industry building. So in this case it's ore. You'll notice nothing is unlocked yet until you place your first building. So I think what would make sense is when you drive up to this area, you're kind of greeted by like the front office. So now we just unlocked the first 3 basic things with our industrial area. And now we also have a name. So the leveling system is similar that we're going to see throughout the video with different types of DLCs that are baked into the game. But this one is industries. And the way this works is based on the produced resources you get and the workers, and then as you level up you kind of keep unlocking different aspects of efficiencies and different factories and stuff. So we also have the ability to write specific policies to this district. In this case, I kind of always do improved safety working conditions, improved work safety supervision. This basically just gives us a little better health, less problems with pollution and stuff, and it's not that much of a cost. You can later do things like automation, makes it like a little more efficient, and as well as improved logistics, which helps like capacity, and kind of it goes over all the little details there. But yeah, you can make policies specific to that. So to get to the next level, our goal is 500 of resources and 150 workers. So we're gonna have to build a little bit after this as well to make sure we have the demand for workers. But there's basically a whole chain of flow. So you get your ore with the extracting resources, and then you have processing buildings that can produce it into metal or glass, and then those output they can either be used in various factories or they can be sold for a profit. We can start to make a lot of money. Right now we're not obviously doing anything, so we're losing some money. Okay, so my thinking is what we'll do is we'll first grab this industrial road and bring this all the way out to kind of out here. I think it kind of makes sense to have some processing, not processing, the extraction buildings kind of over on this little area. So why don't we do is place kind of a road over here. And maybe as you get into this area, it switches to like a dirt road. It kind of makes sense. It gets a little more gritty as you kind of start to get to the work area. So let's find it's going to be a small ore mine. So I'm going to place a few of these around. These ones aren't the most pretty. There's some nicer looking ones later, but for now, that'll work. And then what we can do is also have a road that goes off, let me a little bit further up here, and would house our storage, our sand storage here, which will hold our ore. And now that we have our storage buildings, what we'll do is we'll get some processing buildings in. So maybe what we can do is build a little loop around this. And then we can put some processing. I think the one we have access to right now is the ore grinding, which makes our metals. So we have about, five collection. Let's do about two processing plants. And that will then take our ore, make metals. And this is our ore storage. There's also different ways you can change the storage modes. They kind of explain here in the tooltip the differences. For now, we'll just leave it at balanced. That works fine. And we can also just they have nice little fences that come with the DLC. So why don't we just bake that in there too? Kind of have a little bit of entranceway, makes it look a little bit cleaner and nicer. Makes it feel like it's a little bit more realistic to have this area kind of fenced off. Makes a little sense, right? To have kind of an entranceway. And what we can also do is, let's see if there's any other parks or something we can add as a little decoration that would make sense in this area. Okay, yeah, this will be great. And like I said, we press play now. We'll speed things up a little bit to 2 speed. And now they'll start to progress. Oh, I forgot water. So yeah, it's a good thing. We forgot to bring water all the way out here. So let's pause it again, actually. Great, now this whole area has power. Fantastic, that should all go away. We got water. Let's also just double check our power is also getting low. I think our power is more the problem right now. I think we also had, this is already up to 120% overcharged. So why don't we bring this back down to 100? pause the game, and we got the money. Let's just buy another power plant. There's a new one that was just added in the last update here recently. It goes, if you own the Green Cities DLC, there's this new advanced coal power plant. Really cool building. I like the look of it a lot. So we're going to just place that right here. Looks really nice. It's going to have us, it's a little bit more green coal. It's kind of funny because it comes with the Green Cities DLC, but it's still coal. So a little bit of irony there, I guess. I don't know if that was meant to be or whatnot, but it's kind of funny. So we have that now. So our power, yeah, plenty of power. We're good for a while. Water, still be fine. Garbage. Just these things to kind of check up on every once in a while. Obviously, if there's real problems, the icons will start to appear, but you can always kind of be proactive and double check these things. And since we just added a bunch of new jobs through this, what we definitely need is we have a higher demand for residential. So let's build some more residential area here. My thinking is, well, we didn't really go that close to this pond and stuff. I think we could almost bring another row of houses here, maybe even more like premium type housing for people that live on the lake. So let's look at our grade here of so landscape does kind of dip pretty deep there. So let's see if there's a way we can kind of extend this out. We can now build maybe just a small little bit of houses in here, a bit closer to this road. This is a good example of what we can do is, as I mentioned, we'll kind of bring this out to about here, like closer to the road. And then we'll switch our zoning to just be this inner area, not the outer area. So that way people still have like an unobstructed view of the lake. Yeah, that's probably nice. We don't need to overdo it. We can just have a few little connections in here. And then again, we keep this kind of unobstructed to the lake area. So let's zone this in. We're also gonna need to make sure we add water pipes, or that's not gonna work properly. So we don't want that. So let's add some water pipes. Let's check back in with our industry. Let's see how this is doing. So we've got almost up to 150 workers. We have plenty of resources coming in and out, so that's good. Things are flowing nicely. We'll get that notification when that pops up to level 2 here soon. I think in the meantime, while we're waiting on that, there's a few things I want to show off again. Some DLC stuff we can do is, we haven't really done too much as districts. So one really cool thing is you can change the style. So right now we kind of have just the generic style of buildings here for the industry. With the newest Industries Evolution DLC that just came out, we have a new map theme style, or not map style, but district style, where we can change the type of building. So what we can do is zone in. We're just going to follow with our tool this whole area where our industry is. Cool. So then now that we have this Poplar Park, why don't we call it like Industries Park? Or Industry Park would probably make more sense. And what we can do is here the styles. That's the default styles to stay. What we can do is change this to the new Industrial Evolution style. So you'll notice all these buildings are going to pop away, and then new ones are going to pop in with that new style. So be aware that one downside is if you do have leveled up buildings, when they pop back in, they start back at level 0, but they should level up pretty fast after that. Okay, and we did hit level 2 with our industry. So now we're already working our way up to level 3. And with that, we unlocked some new buildings. So you'll notice we now have, well, first we have our barracks, which means basically you'll see here, it gives you a bonus. Each building increases the work efficiency by 5% up to a maximum of 100%. So it gives you a place for people to like live nearby, I believe, and then also kind of gives you some bonuses. So that's nice. We kind of have like an underground mine, so if we want a different visual style than what we had there. And then I think we also have the ability now to make glass. So we have a glass manufacturing building, whereas before we only could make our metal. So that's kind of nice. So let's maybe plop one of the glass buildings, maybe 2 of them here, so we can start producing glass. We also now have just a different visual style of, like I said, it's just a visual style, but we can get rid of one of these and place down maybe plop this going the other direction of, just looks a little visually different for ore. But technically they're both ore storage and sand storage. Because you'll notice, even though this one makes glass, which is hypothetically maybe sand, it's still ore. These all still get ore, and technically that's ore storage. So just a visual way. But again, if you had multiple buildings or multiple industry areas, it kind of is a way to differentiate. Get back to zoning back to normal. Let's bring this out, and I think what we should do is kind of have another area for maybe getting some underground mines. Let's see how big this one is. Let's do 2 of those. So just 2 mines. What we could probably also do is make our fence kind of extend around this area. Makes it a little more realistic to have, this heavy equipment stuff. It's not going to be out in the open, so we can kind of fence it off. But just a way to kind of break that areas off. Maybe add a little more tree density in these little pockets and stuff. Okay. Something you might separate the industry, make it a little more hidden. I think we can also add those barracks that I mentioned, so get those little bonuses. So why don't we have this kind of parallel to here, and then we can have, where are those at? Here they are. We'll pop a few of these down. People might live and where they work. It also might make sense, to have some rocks, right? We have an industry area that's dedicated to some, ore and whatnot. So it kind of makes sense. We might have some, maybe even at the entrance here, have like a big one, right? Like a kind of like this is the ore industry. So why don't we delete this? Have like a rock here, and then we'll bring kind of the fence right after that. Have the, I don't know. You can imagine there might be a sign here that says like, what is the name of this place? Ore industry. That's kind of nice. So it might take a second since we deleted that storage to get our storage back up. So let's press play. And yeah, we're already almost at the amount of employees we need, and we're already extracting ore pretty quickly. So we'll let that run. Go back to here. And again, we do have a problem here with workers, educated workers. Let's look at our education. Yeah, our availability for elementary schools is really low. A lot of this whole area needs elementary school. So why don't we're gonna cut out these poor citizens. Get rid of their home here. Let's build like another school right in here. Fantastic. That'll be great. We have now another school. That should help get people a little more educated. Yeah, our availability is a lot higher now. And that's okay that some of these buildings are going to pop in and out over time as that kind of educational population kind of goes in and out. Kind of expected, not the end of the world. How are we doing? We might also do is, let me think here. We have this kind of quote-unquote main road. Why don't we do a few little road upgrades also, just to have it make more sense that some of these different areas might be getting some upgrades. Citizens also like their roads to be upgraded, so you'll see how their little happiness is going to pop in. Let's extend that one all the way through. Something like that. So we'll add some variety. We'll keep this for now. Dirt, and have some paved roads. That'll upgrade some of those buildings. The other thing I mentioned as we did the industrial evolution map style or district style, we can do that also for buildings. So what we can do is in here, let's maybe just make this little pocket of buildings right here. We can change as there's a style for, what is it? Mid-century modern. So these will pop in and out, but these will be kind of different buildings. Some have like pools and stuff, kind of a little bit more fancier. So I think what we're going to do is make this look more like a school area with maybe more of a complex of buildings. We might even move this elementary school. That might make sense. I think what we'll do is we'll bring this over, have a connection there, and then this will kind of extend out, and we can make adjustments as we go. But my thinking is we move the school into the inner area. And then let's move the, what can we do? Let's see if there's a little road we can bring, across. Maybe meet up with that. That makes sense, but we can make that a little nicer. So yeah, nice little bump there. Bring this across. Let's also bring, maybe behind the school, we could have a little, playground stuff, so we could go there. Then let's bring this elementary school over on this side. Maybe the playground for them could be right here across the street. We don't need that parking lot. And this is going to switch to some residential zoning. So even though they're not happy that school's moving across the street, it'll be better for them. So then we can also maybe add, let's see, what other, we have some of this nice the sports venues content creator pack. We have some nice like baseball fields and soccer fields. So why don't we add one of those maybe? Have the football field over there. Maybe move it. I don't like how that looks, so let's bring that over just a tad bit. Can it fit on this side? No, it can't fit on that side. But actually we could do. Get rid of it. It can't fit there, but what we can do is something like this. Let's follow this over. And that grade can be like that. Nice. So that can be like that. That's fine. But then we can place this right over here. Yeah, this will be good. Put this away over here. And then it might make sense to bring this over. Connection there. I think if we're gonna have like a football field and stuff over there, it would probably make sense for us to have some sort of parking both for the school and for that. So we'll do a big parking lot. Won't fit there, will it? No. Maybe a few of them right in here. Okay, that's cool. And we'll put some trees and stuff around here. And we still have our little doctor's office, so we can make sure we have a little parking spot for the doctor. What we could do is, as I mentioned, we can make this road have no zoning, so that way the zoning is only on these little side streets. So let's pick this, turn off zoning, upgrade it, so now there's no zoning. So this now will spawn over here, which is fine. And then we can now put, this will be all zoned for these two roads, not on this main road. That's fantastic. And what else can we maybe throw in here in this little kind of complex? Maybe some more. Yeah, so let's do the same thing here. Turn off zoning. That way our zoning's only on these roads. That's right, these businesses can move. Let's have some, little stores and stuff. A little shopping area for our citizens, kind of by their schools. Great, so now we have a nice little football field a little further away from our school. Maybe it also makes sense to have just a few little administration parking spots right up front here. Yeah, for the school. Cool, and then what we can do, go to our tree brush, and then we're gonna fill this in with trees. There's this nice vegetation, so we can always add vegetation to go on this little side hill. This adds a different way of covering up some of those rougher areas and, having some overgrown. And that's just in general. This vegetation is great to place in kind of denser areas. It'd make kind of sense that you'd have various vegetation in these more dense woods and stuff. You can always kind of fill that in where you makes sense. Again, all these little subtle details add up. I'm also thinking what it might make sense is to have a small little fence here. Let's see if we can fit that in. I'm not sure if we'll have the room for it or not, but maybe a little nature preserve fence. Get rid of all of our toggle here. Yeah, it's kind of nice. We'll put the trees back into place, but I think it makes sense to have at least some sort of little small barrier around our, even though it's not anything intense, but it's enough that you wouldn't want people necessarily getting right up to your railroad, just in case, to be safe. Something like that just kind of makes it a little bit more safe for the kids that are playing. I don't know, maybe a ball goes flying over here. You don't want them near the train tracks, right? Okay, now that we've hit level 3 for our industrial area, what we can do now is add a little bit more buildings. We have access to now a medium ore, so let's get rid of maybe some of these small little guys and redo some of these details here. Let's get rid of those and put down a medium, so a little bit more neat looking. Let's get rid of that road and place another one. Now, so there's 2 of those next to each other. So have the small ones and then our little mines. We also now have a larger metal factory. That's a pretty big boy. So we can maybe put that. Let's see if we can bring a road over. All right, place that right here. That's nice. And then maybe we can do another little connection here. Cool, and we'll let that run. Get that. I'll quickly hit our next milestone. Let's now, we definitely need more people. So let's look at extending this out a little bit further. So I'm thinking this is like the main road that cuts through. So for now, let's kind of prioritize that to extend out. And maybe I think what makes sense is to, right now, people, if they live all the way here but work over here, they have to come all the way through, come all the way down, then cut over. So why don't we have another connection to this main road here? So we don't need to make a connection with there. This can kind of end up being its own little branched off neighborhood, right? Not everything has to make a grid or anything. This is where you can kind of get to a little bit more organicness off of your city. So we'll build this out. kind of keep extending out our housing to those areas. And that's going to, dramatically bring that down, which is great. So with people going to school and everything now, we should be in much better shape with these getting... There's still a little bit missing workers. Yeah, we definitely need more education. Again, we have that policy turned off, so people should be going to school. Let's double check our schools. Looking good. We haven't unlocked the university just yet, so that's fine. We do have a public library over there. If it wasn't such a big asset, I would add another one, but I don't think it would make sense to put it over here visually yet. So we'll wait till this gets a little bit more grown up and everything. So I think overall we're good on population. We just really need to let the city run for a second. While we're waiting on that, why don't we just fix this, since this is kind of a dead end. We might as well just make it at least a roundabout or something. It's a nice little roundabout now. If someone happens to get off the exit, they can at least turn around and get where they need to go. Okay, so what it's yelling about is not enough buyers for products. So basically we have ore. Oh, nice. Okay, we just hit our next milestone. I think it's because we haven't set these to empty, so we need to set these to balanced. And then I believe these should fill back up from here, so it's not full. And then that way they sell off the excess that they have. I think that might have been our problem, switching to empty like that. So yeah, those are already filling up again. Okay. Let's extend this out here now that we've hit our next milestone. What do we have unlocked now? We have all the buildings available. So we have a fiberglass plant, which again is just the bigger version of our glass manufacturing. So you'll notice this one makes 3,200 units per week. This one is 6,400. So gives us a little bit and a little more efficiencies in the like the cost, with water and electricity for those. So instead of having a bunch of these are a little more efficient. That's nice. So maybe we could do is our glass here. What's the size of this one? A little bit bigger, isn't it? Would it fit there? Okay, it would. Let's get rid of these two. And then plop one there and one there. We're almost at our final level 5. That's fantastic. And our RCI is looking really balanced, which is great. Let's see what else we have. Oh yeah, we have this industrial maintenance building. So this gives us an extra capacity of 5%. We need to place that in there. So it's just like a kind of an operational building. So is it something we can place? Let's see here. We can always move. Let's place it over here by this. That makes sense. Yeah, another kind of building over here. And how's everything else looking as far as power and water? Our water is a little low, so why don't we add another water? That'll be good. And we'll need another area for our inland. Cool. That covers our water. Yeah, we're looking really good there. Our trash is a little bit light, so what we could potentially do is have a little recycling center built into... it might make sense to have a little recycling center built into this area. So maybe back here. Yeah, just kind of a more dedicated recycling center in our industrial area. Service this side of the city. Even though technically those trucks will come all the way back over here probably, but it's fine. Makes sense over there. Really liking the look of all this. I think we're about to hit our last milestone, or not last milestone, but we're about to hit Busy Town, which unlocks a lot of stuff for us that we're going to use. A lot of decorative roads, a lot more buildings, lots more policies, lots of different things. So I think we're going to end at that. We'll probably hit that milestone here in a second, but that will be wrapping up our episode. This will be great. We'll look and see maybe the next episode, get some public transportation going, maybe keep extending out some of this neighborhoods, maybe even add some farming industry over here. That'd make sense. We're having a good budget right now. We got plenty of money in the bank. Yeah, I think we're looking in great shape, and I will see you back with episode 3. Once again, I am ZReezy, and thank you for being a part of this incredible journey. Until next time, keep building, keep innovating, and keep exploring the endless possibilities of City Skylines. Take care.